Happy Juneteenth. Happy Freedom Day. Happy Black National Holiday. Happy all of those things. Same holiday, goes by a few different names. What is it? What does it mean? Why is it now a national holiday? What's up with all of this? Hi, I'm the Adrenalized Artist. Welcome to my channel if you're new. If you've been watching me for a minute, hey, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what we refer to as Juneteenth. And by we, I not only mean we as um, the primary heritage that I am, which is Black slash African American. I'm primary in the United States, that is, or probably anywhere else in the world, huh? We tend to go by what our eyes think we see, but I digress. Um, I'm going by what we call this holiday here in the United States. Federally recognized, only recognized in 18 states currently. I happen to be in a state that does not recognize it. However, it doesn't matter. I still honor and celebrate the heritage that is rich not only in my own lineage or lineage, however you say that word, but also within the United States, within the African diaspora. This is an important day to honor in meaningful ways. The holiday itself is because of one thing. When slavery was emancipated by Abraham Lincoln, for a couple of years, not all the slaves got the memo, as we would say. So a Union Army went to this destination, this final place that they were aware that slavery existed in Texas, and advised the slaves that they were free. The slave master didn't tell them that they were free. That slave master got more work out of them for a couple of years. Did not pay them, did not say, hey, you're now free to go about and have the life that you would like to have, do the kinds of labor that you would like to do, and to try to build some kind of a life for yourself. Try to find your family members. Try to find anybody that you may have come in contact with previously in your life as a slave, perhaps on other plantations. No, they didn't do any of that. The slave master or slave masters kept these people working and kept them in bondage. And who freed them were the Union soldiers. I want to just mention something. Union soldiers had a lot of African Americans in them. So essentially, Black people freed other Black people. It's not a diss against anybody who's not Black. It's not anything. I'm just stating facts. So this is what happened. We celebrate and honor that day as the start of recognizing personal freedoms, as the start of independence, as the start of understanding that we are much more than what anybody in modern society tells us. You know, we're much more than our jobs. We're much more than our social circles. We are spiritual beings living here in the flesh, walking the earth, but we're heavenly beings. You know, our bodies, that's one thing. One day our bodies are going to disappear. One day our bodies are going to die. The soul and the spirit never dies. And I'm not just saying from a biblical perspective, I'm saying regardless of what your religion is or whatever, soul and spirit lives on. For people who don't believe in any of that, well, that's my belief, that's my knowledge, that's my understanding of everything. You're free to have a different perspective, and I'm not going to ever diss anybody for that. But I digress a little bit. This day is a day in which I personally had to work, but I've been working from home for the past couple of years due to the pandemic and due to the fact that now that I've done it for a couple of years, I have more freedom. I'm able to get more work done essentially. I'm able to go deeper into the kind of work that I do and have the kinds of conversations with people that I need to have. My day job personal work involves speaking with people regarding some of the issues that they're having and trying to resolve those problems and be an advocate for them. And that's about as much as I can say. I can't really go any deeper than that pertaining to it. But I serve, I protect, I honor, not because I'm just such a noble person, but because I feel a calling to it, if you will. And even though my art protects and serves and honors too, this is a way to directly do it that has a direct impact on the people that I talk to through the entity in which I do that. So it's satisfying work in a sense. I say in a sense because my primary calling is my artistry. And so because of that, often I'm torn between having the type of work that I've had to have from doing this work that I currently do. I've been doing this now about 3.5 years. To in the past doing marketing and advertising, and at one point some entertainment locally. At one point I was a talent scout. I mean, I've done a variety of work, if you will. And the lesson here is this, and the reason why I mention it is this. We are all free to live the lives that we need to live. I know that it looks like a lot of laws and statutes and so forth are changing within the United States. I know that it looks like that different groups are being targeted. And I know that it looks kind of hopeless to a lot of different people. The economy is doing all sorts of things. We have a couple of different illnesses running rampant. All sorts of stuff happening, right? But at the end of the day, we're free to be who we were meant to be. And I think anyone, regardless of whether they have African ancestry or not, regardless of whether they have slavery ancestry or not, can definitely take a moment to honor in a respectful way that the ending of slavery, the official ending, as well as the actual ending, that all was the catalyst to different groups of people from different walks of life within the United States having the ability to claim a space for themselves and to live their own lives and to do the things that are important and necessary for them. I am doing a separate video regarding Pride Day because for some reason, within the past 48 hours, there's been a sharing of holidays. Father's Day landed on yesterday in the calendar, which was the actual Juneteenth day because the Union Army told the slaves they were free June 19th, 1865. Father's Day this year in the United States happened to hit yesterday, June 19th, 2022. And then today, since the federal holiday for Juneteenth is today, the 20th, the federal holiday for Juneteenth landed on Pride Day for the LGBTQ plus communities. So it's like, it may appear that these holidays are not related, but in essence they are. A lot of men or people who identify as male choose to be fathers. And I say that because whether you intended to get somebody pregnant or not, or whether you intended to adopt, or all the different ways that people become parents, if you are recognized as a father, you are raising and mentoring and protecting and valuing young lives who grow up and, in part because of your contributions, make contributions into society. They find respectful ways to honor a day such as today which is the federal Pride Day, first of all, and also the federal Black national holiday. I've known it for that for so long. Juneteenth. So, because of the contribution of some forward thinking fathers, there are some very respectful people in the world, and I've run across many of them. And then sometimes, because of the lack of knowledge of some fathers, there can be a disrespect as well that happens. I can't blame it all on the fathers because to me, just by definition, a good father, a loving, caring, committed, providing father is doing the former way more than he can ever do the latter. And we're not perfect beings. Sometimes the things that we say and do can impact the children in our lives for decades to come. But I just felt like I needed to mention, yeah, yesterday was Father's Day. True facts. For anyone watching this video that's not in the United States. Today, we have 2 federal holidays hitting on the same day. And so for those who are interested in my thoughts on Pride Day as an ally, I'm doing a separate video on that. Now, here's what I want to say. What I do in my life dictates this. I celebrate my personal freedom starting from Juneteenth all the way through 4th of July, Independence Day. The reason I do that is when I was growing up, I was blessed to know 2 sets of my great-grandparents. My maternal set of great-grandparents, I knew them briefly as a toddler, and I still have some memories here and there of the 2 of them. But they passed away as I was a toddler, or while I was a toddler. My paternal great-grandparents that I knew them into an early adulthood because they lived a long time. And my paternal great-grandfather's birthday was on Independence Day. So for the longest time, for a good 20 plus years, it was his birthday. And that's when I got to see my family. You know, we had the freedom to all get together, regardless of what anyone looked like, race, skin tone, religious background, whatever. We all got together, honored his birthday, honored Independence Day, and had just a wonderful time. The other thing is, for me as a multiracial Black person, I celebrate the freedom from June 19th all the way through to July 4th to live my life, celebrate those who are different from me, gain new perspective on people who are different from me, and have that reflected in my art and reflected in whatever else I choose to do. That's how I live it. There's certain holidays I don't go out and purchase things in the name of those holidays. Meaning the whole advertised thing that I saw on a couple of products, news I saw on a couple of them, I was like, what? These are people who either do not understand what Juneteenth is, or they're being disrespectful. And that was the ice cream by a certain company I won't name, and the stereotypical salad by a certain entity that I won't name. I found that to be just off-putting. And I know how I want to take it, but just in case it was an honest, innocent something, that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is the way that the former slaves did it on June 19th, 1865. They had a party, a parade, we're free. You know, just imagine if you've been toiling out in the hot blazing sun in fields, or you were living in a house against your will taking care of people against your will, and all of a sudden you no longer have to do that, there is a cause for celebration. I imagine there was a cause for nervousness too, because it's like, okay, well, we've been living here, and granted, the conditions are not the best. We're eating foods that have absolutely nothing to do with what our culture and heritage is. We have a religion that has nothing to do with what our religion was, back on our African continent. Now we're free to just do whatever. Where am I going to go? What kind of work am I going to do? And I mention that to say this. I am blessed to live in a time period in which I have options. And I feel like that my life and our lives currently are an amalgamation of the decisions that we make. We get to make a lot of decisions for our own lives, and we have to try to choose wisely. We're not perfect beings. Sometimes we slip up and we think that we're making the right choice, only to find out a few days, a few months, sometimes even a few minutes later, ooh, I shouldn't have done that. So I use this holiday all the way through to July 4th to reflect on my life and my decisions, my vision for my life, where I want things to go, and how I would love for things to be in my surroundings and in my country and so forth and so on. The other thing I want to say is this. Part of the decisions that I make include choosing to love, honor, and celebrate my family members and friends who are a part of the LGBTQ plus community. I support them as they have supported me. For some people, there's an intersectionality in being of different groups, and that intersectionality can affect their lives and their abilities to make certain decisions. And so it's hard sometimes to make some choices and deal with the repercussions of the choices that you make. I said I wasn't going to mingle the two videos, but it's hard not to, because both holidays are being celebrated today. But I'm going to go into full detail. I think I'm going to do 2 videos on this particular holiday, meaning Juneteenth, because I also want to talk about my own personal intersectionality, what it's like to be a Black woman. So that will be a completely different video, different thumbnail, everything. And then I will probably record the Pride video tomorrow, just because when I do videos, after about 2, my brain is fried and I tend to go long. See, I've already gone longer than I wanted to on this one. But that's the agenda. And then I have one more video because I did some drawing today, some doodling during my lunch break, and wanted to share the results of that. So I got a lot of posting going on. Also a lot of redness in my face going on. I'm noticing. My skin is not being kind today. But I digress. Juneteenth, most importantly for me, means that I was blessed to live off of the fruits of the labor of some of my ancestors. I also have ancestors who were on the other side of the slavery coin. And sometimes that's hard for me to think about, for me to go, oh. And a lot of us in the United States have ancestry from both sides. I just say this, it just goes to show that we have a choice to make always. I'm going to close with this. We have a choice to make always. You can be on the right side of history or the wrong side of history. And we want to make sure that we think through things and choose to be on the right side of history. So happy Juneteenth. for those who are celebrating that and honoring either their personal ancestry or the ancestry of someone they love and know. I think that as time progresses, there will be more out there that will be teaching people adequate, effective, respectful ways to honor this holiday. But for me, just thinking about the sacrifice that a lot of slaves made, some of them didn't even live through the boat trip. Some of them didn't even live through some of the illnesses and diseases that they got here because they were in unfamiliar territory. And some of them didn't live to get off the plantation. Either they died of natural causes, died of age, or died at the hands of physical abuse. A lot of the slaves went through all kinds of trauma. Sexual trauma at the hands of the slave master. I mean, we know the story. We can't act like that our country did not go through these things. We did. There are painful parts of our history, just like there are pleasant parts of our history. And the pleasant side of this is that it did not last forever, and we can celebrate and honor the independence of all people in the United States. That's my take on Juneteenth. I hope to, as I say, God willing, next year have a different type of a video for Juneteenth, because I do want to start incorporating more art and music and so forth into how I celebrate. But for me, and most of my lifetime, it's been just a holiday of reflection, quiet reflection, prayerful introspection. That's how I've always celebrated it. So comment below if you celebrate it, and if so, how do you? If you're interested in finding out more about Juneteenth, comment about what you'd like to know specifically. And also comment, did you learn about this holiday in school? Because last year when President Biden wrote it into law, a lot of people that went to school with me were like, did you know about this? Did we learn about this and I missed it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, we didn't learn about it in school. But I knew about it just because, my heritage. I don't remember not knowing about it. My parents and grandmother, an extended family, older family members, they were beautiful in teaching us some things about all of our heritage. Not just the African part, but every last bit of ourselves. So my brother and I were blessed to know ourselves completely as far as where we came from. If my family members knew about it, we did. Of course, thanks to all the advancements with DNA and the solving, if you will, of the human genome, we had a couple of little surprises like, oh, you mean we're part what? Oh, okay. So some things I've learned as an adult, but Juneteenth was one thing that I've always had with me since I can remember anything. But thank you so much for spending the time with me and hearing my thoughts about Juneteenth and learning a little bit about it if you didn't know anything. And I will see you in my next video. Check it out.